multipolar collaborations, actually, because in part we can see that the United States is proving to the world that it is a capricious and an unreliable counterparty, where it doesn't even know how to articulate its own objectives to others when they're sitting across the table, but also that the United States has clearly shown a readiness to tear up all the agreements the United States itself has been a party to, whether it's the North American Free Trade Agreement and its subsequent manifestation, which incidentally was negotiated by the first Trump administration, all the way through to bilateral as well as multilateral agreements that the United States has been a party to.
Forget everything you thought you knew about global economics. The trade war launched by Donald Trump, it's not just failing, it's actively empowering China and reshaping the entire world order. We're talking about a monumental shift. China replacing American farmers with alliances in Brazil and Argentina. A massive move away from the US dollar and the rise of a truly multipolar world.
The BRICS states, there are like 6 of them, and they were trying to destroy. How about BRICS? You know, the BRICS states, there are like 6 of them, and they were trying to destroy our dollar. They were going to say, you know, they wanted to create a new currency. They probably wanted to use the yuan, China. They wanted to use the yuan. And Biden said, well, this is a tough situation. There's not much we can do about that. We can't help that. I said, oh, we can help it. So when I came in, the first thing I said is any BRIC state that even mentions the destruction of the dollar will be charged a 150% tariff. And we don't want your goods. We don't want to partake. And the BRIC states just broke up. I don't know what the hell happened to them. We haven't heard from the BRIC states lately. But he said that wasn't much we could do about it. There was a lot. It took once, and literally, they said, sir, what about the BRIC states? They're going to take over the dollar, the sanctity of the dollar. They're going to create a new currency to rule the world. I said, no, they're not. They said, yes, they are, sir. They said it. I said, no, they're not. Tell them 150% tariff, plus we're not going to do business.
This isn't just about trade. It's about power, influence, and the future of every nation on Earth. The stakes are incredibly high, and it's happening right now. Let's break down exactly what this means for you. China is finding ways to replace American farmers. This is a direct consequence of the tariffs imposed during the trade war. The New York Times reported that China is looking more towards Brazil and Argentina for agricultural imports. This shift highlights the growing collaboration among nations outside of the United States' influence. It signifies a movement towards a multipolar world. Countries are beginning to consolidate their economic relationships. They are moving away from reliance on the US dollar and American markets. Vietnam has also expressed its desire to join the BRICS nations. The country recognizes the importance of BRICS in promoting solidarity and cooperation. Vietnam is ready to discuss becoming a partner country. This is a clear indication of how nations are reevaluating their alliances. They are seeking partnerships that align more closely with their interests.
The United States. We can take this all the way back to the first trade war in his first administration. Originally, the plan, the trade war had 2 phases, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1 was he wanted China to buy more and to, remedy the balance of trade. And the second phase, which we never actually got to, was the demand was for China to dismantle their state-owned enterprise.
It is not just about economics. It is about security and stability as well. The US has attempted to contain China. This policy has not only failed, but has led to a consolidation of countries around.
War propaganda destroyed by one live stream. Seeing is believing. I just came back from China. I spent a week in Beijing and Shanghai, and just being on the street, interacting with the people, and seeing the mood is, people in China, they're not worried about tariffs, war. They have their whole busy life to attend to, and for them that means going shopping.
China. The trade war has shown the world that the US is an unreliable partner. It has demonstrated a willingness to tear up agreements it once championed. This has left many nations looking for alternatives. They are finding these alternatives in BRICS and other multilateral organizations. Countries like Japan, Korea, and China are intensifying their discussions. They are responding to the uncertainties created by the Trump administration. The trade war has forced nations to rethink their strategies. They are looking to consolidate their economic relationships rather than allow the US to divide them. This is a significant shift in how countries are approaching international relations. Capital flows are also changing. The Belt and Road Initiative has accelerated infrastructure development in the global south. Chinese enterprises are becoming global exporters of capital, know-how, and technology. This is evident in projects like the BYD development in Hungary. These developments are reshaping the global economic landscape. They are creating a new network of relationships that bypass traditional Western institutions. The BRICS Bank and other multilateral institutions are gaining prominence. These institutions are maturing. They are becoming alternatives to the IMF and World Bank. This is a crucial development. It shows that countries are looking for financial frameworks that better serve their interests. They are moving away from institutions that have historically been dominated by the West. Security institutions are also evolving. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization has been instrumental in coordinating nations across the Eurasian continent. It has focused on sharing information and addressing security risks. This intermeshing of trade and security institutions is creating a new fabric for the multipolar world. It is a shift away from the American modus operandi of using force and intimidation. Dialogue is becoming the primary means of resolving conflicts. Diplomats are working to strengthen relationships rather than pull them apart. This is a crucial development in international relations. The trade war has inadvertently catalyzed another round of consolidation of multipolar institutions. This is not what Washington intended, but it is the reality. Interestingly, there are voices suggesting that we should thank the Trump administration. Some in China refer to Trump as Comrade Trump. They see him as inadvertently helping China grow stronger. The irony is striking. While he aimed to undermine China, his actions have had the opposite effect. Initially, the trade war had a two-phase plan. The first phase aimed for China to buy more American products. The second phase demanded that China dismantle its state-owned enterprises. This was a misguided approach. It was based on a belief that China's economic model would inevitably fail. The US underestimated China's resilience and adaptability. The demands made by the Trump administration were contradictory. They assumed that China would collapse due to its state interventionist policies. However, this assumption has proven to be false. The reality is that China has continued to thrive despite the trade war. The US has failed to recognize the strength of China's economic model. As the trade war escalated, it became clear that the US was making itself look foolish. The lack of planning and understanding of China's countermoves has been evident. The trade war has unveiled the contradictions within American foreign policy. It has exposed the vulnerabilities of the US economy. Public opinion in the US is also shifting. A recent Pew survey indicates that Americans are warming up to China. The unfavorable view of China has decreased from 84% to 77%. This change is significant. It suggests that as the trade war drags on, people are beginning to see the complexities involved. They are becoming more curious about China and its role in the global economy. The propaganda machine in the West has focused on shaping public opinion. However, the reality of interactions and experiences is beginning to break through. The narrative that China is a threat is being challenged. People are experiencing the benefits of low-cost goods from China. They are realizing that their standard of living depends on these imports. As supply chain constraints become more apparent, consumers will feel the impact. The realities of rising prices and scarcity will challenge the prevailing narratives about China. The American public is beginning to see the consequences of the trade war. They are starting to question the assumptions that have long been held about China. China's approach to governance is also being recognized. The idea that socialism cannot work is being challenged. The experiences of ordinary people are contradicting the narratives pushed by the media. The material realities of life in China are beginning to resonate with Americans. They are seeing that China provides affordable education and healthcare. This is something that many in the US struggle with. The trade war has peeled back layers of propaganda. It has exposed the truth about the interconnectedness of the global economy. The reality is that the US needs China more than it realizes. The economic relationship is not one-sided. It is mutually beneficial, yet the US has failed to acknowledge this. As the trade war continues, the effects are being felt across various sectors. Small businesses are struggling to navigate the uncertainties. The stock market is reacting negatively to the ongoing tensions. Even the elite in the US are feeling the pinch as their investments are impacted. The trade war is revealing that the US is not the all-powerful nation it once claimed to be. In conclusion, the trade war initiated by Trump is collapsing. It is reshaping the global landscape in ways that were not anticipated. The BRICS nations are growing stronger. China is finding new partnerships. The US is losing its grip on global economic dominance. The future is multipolar. Countries are consolidating their relationships based on mutual interests. This shift is not just about economics. It is about security and stability in an increasingly interconnected world. As we move forward, it is essential to recognize the implications of these changes. The world is witnessing a transformation that could redefine international relations for decades to come. The lessons learned from the trade war will shape the strategies of nations as they navigate this new multipolar landscape. The narrative surrounding China is evolving. People are beginning to see beyond the propaganda. They are experiencing the reality of a world that is more interconnected than ever. The trade war has opened up a dialogue about the future of global relations. It has challenged long-held assumptions and forced a re-evaluation of what it means to engage in international trade. As we look to the future, the question remains, how will nations adapt to this new reality? The trade war may have been a misguided attempt to assert dominance. However, it has inadvertently catalyzed a shift towards a more collaborative and multipolar world. This is a development that will require careful navigation. The stakes are high, and the implications are far-reaching. Relations hangs in the balance. Want to learn more about investing? Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for regular tips, tricks, and insights.